Here's the complete script, 904 words. Right now, water is leaking through pipes under your feet, and you have no idea what it's doing to the ground beneath you. That's the leaking reason your own plumbing hides a growing void from you quietly for years without a single crack on the surface. And in 2010 in Guatemala City, that same slow drip opened a hole 300 feet deep in under 60 seconds. A three-story building vanished. No warning, no sound but a low groan. Just a street, and then a pit that swallowed it whole. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the ground under your own city might already be hollow. Here's what you need to understand first. Every city on Earth is a thin skin stretched over something unstable. Roads, foundations, sidewalks, they're not sitting on solid rock. They're sitting on layers of soil, sediment, sometimes ash, held together by nothing more than friction and moisture. Pipes run through all of it. Sewage lines, water mains, storm drains, thousands of miles of aging metal and concrete, buried and forgotten the moment they're covered over. You walk over them every day. You never think about them until one fails, quietly, underground, where nobody's watching. Guatemala City sits on something worse than ordinary soil. Beneath the streets lies a deep layer of volcanic pumice, ash blasted out of nearby volcanoes thousands of years ago, compacted just enough to hold its shape but riddled with air pockets. It's strong when it's dry. It's almost weightless when it's wet. Engineers have a name for what happens next: piping. Water finds a crack, a seam, a broken pipe joint, and it starts carrying tiny grains of pumice away with it, one drop at a time. No one sees it happen. There's no sinking, no warning crack in the pavement. The surface stays perfectly intact, a thin crust over a cavity that keeps growing inch by inch for months, sometimes years, feeding on a leak nobody reported. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. Guatemala City had already been warned. In 2007, a nearly identical hole opened just blocks away, killing several people and swallowing houses whole. Investigators blamed a ruptured sewage main. City engineers patched the pipe, filled the hole, and moved on. They never scanned the surrounding ground. They never asked how far the erosion had already spread sideways, underneath streets that still looked solid. Then, in May 2010, Tropical Storm Agatha dumped nearly 2 feet of rain on the city in a single day, and that water didn't just fall on the surface. It poured straight down through the cracked pipe from 3 years earlier, into a cavity that had never stopped growing. At 6 a.m. on May 30th, residents heard what witnesses described as a deep, rolling boom, like a truck slamming into a building. Then the street folded inward. A perfect, near-vertical shaft opened up, roughly 60 feet across and almost 100 meters deep, deeper than a 30-story building is tall. A 3-story clothing factory dropped straight down into the dark. The hole was so clean, so symmetrical, that satellite photos of it went viral within hours. People struggled to believe it was natural. It wasn't a sinkhole in the textbook sense, no limestone, no cave system. Geologists call it a piping collapse, or cover collapse sinkhole, a hidden underground void, carved silently by water and buried pipes, that finally loses the strength to hold up the roof over it. And Guatemala City is not unique. Winter Park, Florida, lost an entire city block to the same mechanism in 1981. Tokyo swallowed a 5-lane intersection in 2016 when subway construction eroded the soil beneath it. Detroit, Rome, Naples, London, cities built over centuries of buried, aging, leaking infrastructure, have all logged similar collapses, and in nearly every case, the pipe had been failing for years before the ground finally gave way. That's the unsettling part. A sinkhole like this doesn't start the morning it opens. It starts with a single hairline crack in a pipe laid decades earlier, the kind of crack that exists right now, under thousands of streets, in cities that have no idea it's there. Ground-penetrating radar can find these voids before they collapse, but almost no city scans its infrastructure that way, because it's expensive and the danger is invisible until it isn't. In Guatemala City, follow-up surveys after 2010 found more chambers still forming nearby, some of them under occupied streets, never filled, never fully mapped. The pipes that caused this weren't unusual. They were ordinary infrastructure, the same kind running under your own home right now, aging the same way on the same slow, silent timeline. So the next time you feel a faint vibration under your floor or notice a damp patch on your basement wall that dries up and reappears, remember Guatemala City. That factory's owners didn't get a crack in the wall to warn them. They didn't get a tilted doorframe or a sagging floor. They got 60 seconds, and then nothing was there. Somewhere beneath a street you've walked on this week, there could already be a chamber like that one, hollowed out drop by drop, waiting on a pipe joint that hasn't quite failed yet. And no one, not one engineer, not one government, is currently watching it grow.